The
And by the
secret
end of
meeting
this
that
video,
changed
you will
rap
see
music
just who
forever.
Dr. Dre paid that price to. Dr. Dre and NWA were puppets used for a sinister purpose that has forever affected hip-hop. Dr. Dre and NWA were used to spread the gangster rap agenda. In the video I recently did on Bone Thugs, we spoke about the rumored secret meeting that forever changed hip-hop. A secret meeting between record label executives and a group of secret music industry investors.
In 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable in the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employees, we also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Later on, he said, you know, this person actually ended up leaving the music industry after this happened. We're told not to sign any more political rappers, any more rappers that had messages in their music.
No positivity.
It was all to be gangster rap music promoted and
As you heard for yourself, Crazy Bone explains the story of the secret meeting, and he mentions how the record labels were only signing artists pushing the gangster rap agenda. Crazy Bone makes it clear that the record labels were not signing any positive artists and were making sure that hip-hop only pushed one agenda: gangster rap. The meeting that Crazy Bone is talking about was rumored to have taken place in the 90s, even though there isn't 100% proof this meeting ever took place. Just by looking at the change in hip-hop culture, you can start to see that there might be truth to this story, especially when we look at NWA. I believe the gangster rap agenda was implemented in the 80s with the rise of the rap group NWA. See, NWA was a rap group full of what's now known as studio gangsters. A studio gangster, for those who don't know, is a rapper who pretends to be a gangster in their music, but in reality, they're not living that lifestyle at all. Everybody in the group except for Eazy-E had not lived a criminal lifestyle, and Eazy was just really a pot dealer who hustled and saved his money. Ice Cube, who wrote most of the group's songs, was never in the streets at all. He wasn't even from Compton. He actually was a college student who dropped out to be a part of NWA. He was never arrested, nor did he do any of the things he rapped about. Dr. Dre and DJ Yella was actually dancers, a part of the R&B group World Class Wrecking Crew, where they dressed in tights and danced in sparkly shirts. Nothing that Dr. Dre was doing was gangster at all, and it was actually the complete opposite. Even Eazy-E wasn't really living his raps, as all he ever did was hustle and make money. In today's world, that's just about all teenagers in New York City. So what made a bunch of normal day-to-day people, who for the most part were law-abiding citizens, create a rap group where they painted themselves as gangsters who lived a criminal lifestyle? The reason for this is that Dr. Dre and NWA were all just puppets on a string, pushing an agenda. The entire image of NWA was fabricated and purposely created to spread destructive values targeted at the youth in urban communities. The music industry pushed the values that destroyed urban communities. The culture that these labels built with music turned children into gangsters, tricking them into destroying their own lives. We never saw this with the rock agenda. The agenda that rock music pushed was completely different from hip-hop, as it was aimed for children in suburban households. But hip-hop was turned into a tool to shape the minds of the kids from urban communities, guiding them to live a destructive life. Most people look at the ghetto as a place full of people who didn't have what it takes to win at life, but that is